Hi there, Stampers. Jen Roque here from StampCampWithJen.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Summerfield, Florida, near the Villages, and welcome to day number 12 of my 12 Days of Christmas series. We're finally at the last day. I hope you've enjoyed all of the other 11 projects leading up to day 12. If you haven't yet, please go back and watch them and give me a little thumbs up and leave me a comment below each video and let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what you think of each of my projects. So today for the final video, I wanted to make something really extra special. So this is a star treat box. It's so neat, and it looks way more complicated than it is to put together. But before we get into that project, let me remind you my shopping special this week for the last week of my 12 Days of Christmas. When you shop with me and spend at least $75 before tax and shipping, you will get the new Stampin' Die organizers as a free gift from me to say thank you for shopping with me. So that offer is good until this Sunday, December 7th. That's the last day you can place your order to earn that. And also Stampin' Up! Just released their first product of the month, which is a beautiful set of designer series paper that you can unlock once your order reaches $75. You will be able to add that to your cart and only pay $5 for that item. So make sure to check that out as well. And there were new last chance products released too. So lots of great savings you can get with your order. Okay, so this little box, like I said, it is really cool. I actually saw a Facebook reel that showed, one of those sped up videos of how to put this together. And I was like, oh, that's so neat. That would be perfect for Christmas. So I did a little digging on the internet and I found fellow Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Julie DiMatteo from thepaperpixie.com. She did a video back in 2017 putting this box together. So thank you, Julie, for doing the work so I didn't have to figure out the measurements. That was great. So I used her measurements and I'm going to show you how to put this together. So this is a cute little box. I used the Snowflake Kisses Bundle. So the stamp set says, if kisses were snowflakes, I'd send you a blizzard. So I thought that was so cute to put on the middle of this. This bundle has a lot of great winter sentiments. Here, let me zoom out so you can get a better look at that there. It's got a lot of great winter and friendship sentiments on here. And then the dies have a lot of beautiful snowflake dies in the set. There's a big background die that makes a bunch of snowflakes. You can die cut little ones out, and the little banner has little snowflake accents in here. And then there's a whole nother sheet with more snowflake dies that you can use. And then the one that I used was this little circle die, which also has these little snowflake die cuts that come out to give it a little accent as well. So those are really nice. And you'll get a close-up of that when we do the stamping for that. But so that's the bundle I'm using. And then the paper we're using is from the Elegant Pine Snowflakes paper. You've probably seen it all over the internet. There's lots of gorgeous patterns on here. I initially tried to do a box with this pattern first, but the dark green is really hard to see, so that's why I changed it to a lighter background. So just keep that in mind when you go to make your project. You do, if you choose a different paper, try to get one that has like a lot of white or light colors in it, because it can be very difficult to see if you use a dark paper with this project, because we are going to need a pencil and we're going to make a bunch of pencil marks. So you will need a paper that is lighter in color to make it easier for you to see. Okay, so you're going to need, like I said, a piece of paper. We're actually going to need two. I'm going to show you how to do one of them, and the other piece I've already done because they're exactly the same. So I figured I'd do one ahead of time so you don't have to watch me do it over and over and over again. And then you will need your paper trimmer as well. So you're going to need a pencil, your paper trimmer, And I recommend a take your pick tool. Now, if you don't have one of these, I highly recommend, this is one of my favorite tools in my craft room. So a take your pick tool, it comes with this little stylus attachment that you can use. And it also comes with this other attachment that's a pokey end and a spatula end. I use these a lot, but for this project, we're going to use the stylus tool. And I actually recommend using, there's like a fatter ballpoint and a skinnier ballpoint. We're going to use that skinnier ballpoint. It's a little bit easier for this project. So don't throw that away when you get it. I know a lot of people don't really use it very often, but don't throw that away. That does come with the take your pick tool. So like I said, we're going to, and these are really easy to put in and out of the tool. They've got little grooves on the inside here, and there's a little track you can see on the attachment. So all you do is you line up that little track with the groove, and then you twist it to lock it into place. And it even shows you on the take your pick tool to twist it forward to lock it in place, or twist it downward to unlock it and pull it out. So you can kind of see that there as well. So if you've never used one of these, like I said, I highly recommend getting one. It's a great tool to have. And then this other end has a putty end. And this putty you actually use for various things to pick things up. It's slightly sticky, so you can pick up like gems and small pieces of paper off of your desk. But you can also take that putty end and kind of push at an angle on like a gem, and the gem will stick to the putty and you can put it on your card. And that's an easy way to kind of have those little small, fine, detailed pieces of paper or gems and put them where you want to on your card. So I can go on and on about this thing. I love it. But let's get started with our project here. So we're going to need a piece of paper. Like I said, you're going to do 2 of these, but I'm only going to demonstrate one for this project to save time. But you're going to need a piece that's 6 inches wide by 5 1/4 inches long, okay? Now, with the 5 1/4 inch side at the top of the paper trimmer, we are going to, actually, I do want this out a little bit. So we are going to line up our paper at the 2 5/8 inch mark. So if you're not familiar with eighths, so you go to 2 1/2 and then go 1, 2 tick marks to the left, and that's 2 5/8, okay? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take all those blades out of the way because we don't want those. Excuse me, but to save time and make it easier on ourselves, we're gonna hold that paper in place, and we're gonna take our pencil, and where that track is on our paper, we're gonna make a pencil mark at the top and the bottom of our paper. So we've got one up here and one down here, and using that track as a guide just centers it and keeps it all even where we need it to be. Now we're gonna rotate it so that 6 inch side is at the top, and we're gonna line up our paper at 1 1/2 inches and do the same thing. We're gonna make a pencil mark in the track at the top and the bottom of our paper. And then we're gonna slide it over to 4 1/2 inches and do the same thing. Okay. And now you can start to see why we want the lighter paper, because it makes it a lot easier to see where our pencil marks are when we have lighter paper. And even still, like this darker section, it's getting a little difficult to see, okay? Now, I will say also, I do have the template for this box in the PDF tutorial that's attached in the description below and on my website, and there's a big picture of it on my blog post as well. So these are the cut lines we're going to be making. That's what we're working on right now. This part is going to get cut away, and then all those little dotted lines are score lines, but don't worry, I'm going to show you exactly how we do that, okay? So now what we're going to do, we're going to line those pencil marks up in the tracks. We have the one in the center and the one up top here, and we're going to cut. So there's one, and again, lining up that pencil mark and this pencil mark down here, and cutting again, and you'll start to see it come into play, like come into shape. See my pencil mark here And here for the center, cut, and pencil mark down here, and the pencil mark up there, and cut, okay? So that's how we've got our basic hexagon shape. Now I'm gonna take my eraser and I'm gonna erase those little marks at the corners. We don't need those anymore. I'll go ahead and do that now so we don't forget about it later. Okay. I love these Papermate Pink Pearl erasers. They erase so nicely. Okay, so now what we want to do with this, now we're going to start making these longer lines that make the star, okay? So to do that, we're going to take the top and bottom corner here, and we're going to line that up at the 1.5 inch mark. Now with your paper trimmer, you can see the lines go all the way down, which is really nice. So what I like to do is line up that first line along this cross section here, that first corner, and then you'll be able to see it at the bottom section. 1.5 is right there. Okay, so you can line those corners up. Now, what I recommend doing is, this is where our little stylus attachment on our Take Your Pick tool is going to come into play. We're going to take this, oh, actually not right now. Sorry, we're actually going to use our pencil. We're going to use that stylus in a second, but this is where we're making pencil marks. So we're going to do this all the way around. We're going to do like we did before, top and bottom. We're going to make pencil marks. We're going to rotate it so we have another corner at the 1.5 inch mark at the top and the bottom. We're going to do this all the way around and make a pencil mark at the top and the bottom. And then do it again, rotate, corner at the 1.5 inch mark at the top and 1.5 inch mark at the bottom. Oops. And then pencil mark at the top and pencil mark at the bottom. And keep doing that until you have another pencil mark. So we've done all of our pencil marks. Now we're going to take that stylus, and so we're basically making like lines down the side of each one. So what we want to do is we want to take that pencil mark at the top, and there's another pencil mark down here. So it looks like we're doing a line off the side of our hexagon here. Now you can put the trimmer down if you want to, or if it's easier for you to see, you can leave that up and just use the track as your guide. But the easiest way, and to make sure you don't accidentally go outside of the track, is to close that trimmer cover over it, and then just take that stylus and you're going to press in that track. And I like to go up and down a couple times. Now the reason I use this is to get a deeper score line than your scoring blade on your paper trimmer, because your paper trimmer, at least mine, it doesn't make a very deep impression, whereas when you push down with this stylus end, you will be able to see it a lot easier. So again, we're going to rotate. We're going to find that pencil mark up here, and there's another pencil mark down here. You can close that track if it's easier for you and just press all the way through. Go up and down a couple times. And then we're going to rotate it again. And now you can start to see, okay, that score line is going to meet the track down here. So that makes it a little bit easier to see. And then we've got our pencil mark up here. And you'll start to see it kind of take shape, which is really cool. And then we'll rotate again. And that end of that score line goes there, which is also where our pencil mark is. Another pencil mark up top. We're going to score it. So as you're rotating, just imagine, you know, that straight line off to the side. We're just, like I said, we're just kind of making a score panel off the side of each section here. That's what we're scoring. So pencil mark and the score line. looks like we have one more right here. And then we'll score. There we go. See, you can see that star shape. It's starting to take shape. So we've got the little triangles in the middle. We've made those. So now we need to make these little sections. So to do that, this is where I'm going to keep the arm up. So we're actually going to take these little oblong triangles, and that's where we're going to score in the center. So the easiest way I found for me anyway is to take the stylus tip and kind of find where the center is, where it crisscrosses, and you'll feel it when you put it over the track. You'll feel it kind of go into place. It's not going to move when you wiggle it around. It's stuck in that track. Once you have that in place, line up the tip of the hexagon in the middle of the track and then just push that stylus up towards that point. And that's been the easiest way for me to do it. So now we've got another oblong triangle. We're going to find that crisscross, line it up with that track, get the point in the center, and push that stylus up and out, okay? And we're just going to keep repeating that. So find that crisscross, line it up in the track once you know it's not moving. Find that point, line that up in the track, and then push outward. Okay. Another one here. Sometimes they're a little hard to see, so you may want to pick the paper up and get an idea where it is, and then kind of line it up over there. And then once you have it in place, you'll know because it's not going anywhere. And then we'll push out. Okay. But I just love, it makes it so much easier for me to see this way, using this little stylus tip. So I really like that. All right, and looks like this is the last one. All right, and oops, that's not, there we go. Right, like that. All right, so you can see all of our little score lines here. And we can rotate it around, make sure we got them all. And now it looks like the template, right? We've got all of our score lines just like we do in the template. It's got the little hexagon in the middle, okay? So now we're done with our paper trimmer. We're done with our take your pick tool and our pencil. We can grab our eraser again and get rid of those pencil marks we made in the center of each line. Okay, now we're going to fold these lines, those little panels that we made. We're just going to fold and burnish with our bone folder all the way around. Just like so. Okay. Now, what will happen with these little score lines? So those will actually go down in the middle, and you want to kind of press. So you can take like your middle finger and your thumb and use your pointer finger to pinch inward, or you can take your pointer finger from your other hand and pinch. But basically, it'll pretty much form itself, but you just want to go around and kind of reinforce it. Pinch that score line in the middle there. But yeah, your middle finger and your thumb should be behind it, and then your pointer finger will push everything down. Okay? And that's the basic shape here. So like I said, I've already done the other one. So there's two pieces here. Now, there's a couple ways you can go about sealing this box. You can tie a ribbon around it, just kind of fold it, because they will sandwich together. So when I watched Julie's tutorial, she sandwiched it together so that you kind of overlap these. So one goes on the outside, and then the next one goes on the inside, and then the next panel goes on the outside, and you kind of keep doing that. And then she tied a ribbon around it. I personally don't want to fuss with ribbon. Ribbon with something like this can be very tricky, so I glued it. I figured glue was just easier for me. If you want to do ribbon and make it real cute, absolutely, by all means. But I know for me, glue is going to be the way to go. So that's what I did for this one. I glued all but one section, and then I filled it with treats, and then that way, and it's just the one to the right of the message, and they'll be able to kind of figure out that there's an opening there, or if you're with the person, you can help them open it. But can anybody guess what I filled this with? By reading the message, it kind of gives you a little hint. So if kisses were snowflakes, I'd send you a blizzard. Any guesses? Maybe you guessed kisses, right? So I filled this with these Snickerdoodle Hershey Kisses, and they smell like a candle. They smell heavenly. They smell like a bakery. They're so good. If you like Snickerdoodle or cinnamon, these are so good. And I feel like they kind of match the paper because they've got that copper brownish color that goes with the pine cones on the paper. It really doesn't matter if it matches or not, though, because it's on the inside. So that's what I filled these with. And they come in a little bag like this, the Snickerdoodle Kisses cookies. But like I said, you could fill this with anything. I also found that 2 of these little hand sanitizers from Bath & Body Works will fit in there perfectly. You can fill it with any kind of candy, money, all kinds of stuff. But let me show you how to put that together. Let's close it now, okay? So with this project, I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning, but it's really important not to have directional paper because it's going to drive you crazy if you have directional paper. It's never going to line up. So this is non-directional paper, so it really doesn't matter where we start to put this together. But I will say whatever side you choose to lay on top. So like for the example, this is going to be the bottom because that's underneath this piece. So when you go to glue all of the panels, make sure that these overlap, or else it's going to drive you crazy because you're going to have some that are, the bottom is sticking out one side and then the top is on. It's not going to line up. So just make sure all your seams are on one side is my point. Okay, so I'm going to start in one corner. Like I said, it doesn't really matter. It's not directional. And we're going to take some liquid glue and just on this little panel here where it folds up, we're going to lay that on top and kind of give it a second to stick down. So you see what I mean? So this is on the top now. So now this piece, anytime you do the other panels, this piece needs to be on the top. So this next little section here, we're going to glue. And we're gonna just kind of put it over the top. And just try your best to line it up as you're doing it. And then we'll do another panel. You're gonna do 5 of the panels out of the 6. And then you'll just leave one open. And it really doesn't need any sort of closure. I tried to put a magnetic closure on it. That didn't really work because it's really bulky. But because of the shape of the box, it really just closes by itself. You don't really need any sort of closure. All right, we'll do one more here. And again, I'm using this panel to the right is going on the top of each of the sections as I'm putting it together, because I decided early on that was going to be my top panel. Okay. Do your best to kind of shape it as you go. Okay, so we have 2 left, right? So I'm gonna just kind of pick one. So we'll do this one, put glue on it. Just kind of shape it and hold the glue down. Give it a minute. And you can kind of, this part gets a little tricky, but you can kind of take your fingers and press it in the middle if you need to. Oh, there we go. I'm going to pop that out just a little bit here. And now I've got my hand kind of wedged in here and I'm pushing from the back to get that glue to stick on the inside here, and like pressing with my finger and my thumb. Okay, so our box is pretty much done. So now you can, like I said, you can fill it with whatever. You can put a couple of these hand sanitizers in here if you want to. Those fit in there pretty nicely, and you still got a little bit of room. You can put more candy in there, money, whatever, but it will close and stay closed just like that. Like I said, you don't need any sort of closure. It'll pop into place, okay? So now we're gonna do a little bit of decorating. As I mentioned before, I have that little, this is the little die cut that came from the circle from that Snowflake Kisses die set. And then I've got the stamp that says, if kisses were snowflakes, I'd send you a blizzard. And we're gonna use Pretty Peacock to match our paper here. And we're just gonna stamp that right in the center. So cute. I love Pretty Peacock too. It's such a pretty color. All right, and then we're just gonna put some dimensionals on the back and we will be done. So, so cute. Love it. And so what I do is whichever that section is that's opening, I keep that to the right. And then we're just gonna pop this in the center of our star. And now it's ready to go. How adorable is that? All right, guys. Well, I really hope you enjoyed today's project. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below. I love knowing what you think about these projects. And as I mentioned before, if you haven't already, please go back and watch days 1 through 11 as well, and like and comment on those videos also. If you're new to my channel, I do go live every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So I will be live on Monday, December, what is that, 5, 6, 7, December 8th, I think, at 11 a.m. I hope that you'll set a timer, make a plan to join us. You can also sign up for my newsletter at stampcampwithjen.com. I send out a reminder every Monday morning with a link directly to my live video, so you never miss a thing. All right, guys. Well, I really hope you've enjoyed my 12 days of Christmas. Let me know which one was your favorite. I love hearing from you, and I hope you're having a great holiday season, and I hope to see you on Monday for my next live video. All right, have a great day, be safe, and happy stamping. Bye-bye.